Okay, so first things first. I might be up here, but you guys gather around. Come up. I don't care. You can get right up in our business.
Great.
I'm fine with that. Okay?
I'm all about that.
But yeah, don't block other people. But if you're still sitting in the back, you know. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to go through and do I just call them clipper bobs. The end goal is kind of a squarish long bob into a triangular long bob. Okay. When I'm using clippers and going into something like this, I look at a few things. I look at growth pattern to see where it's springing up at. I look at density. One thing for long hair guests, if we just split the hair right at the mastoid behind the ear, and we look at what hangs in front of the ear compared to what hangs behind the ear, we have to be careful of what we do with this, because this is the length that she's going to see, right? So if I'm going to keep length up here, and this gets cut short, at the end of the cut, I'm going to be like, look how long your hair is, right? And all over the back. So we really have to pay attention to that little bit that's in the front. In her case, I'm leaving the length up here, so that's where this is going to come into play. The second part is the approach with the tools. So she's got finer density, so I can go in with something that's not as heavy of a clipper. Okay? So when it comes to clippers, what you guys invest into, what you have in your kits, this is how I look at it. If you're going to be barbering nonstop, that's your goal. You want to bust out some sweet fades and go down that journey, then you need a wide selection of stuff. Okay? You have to have multiple things to be able to cover that arena. So you've got like a motor-driven clipper. This is the Oster 77, probably a little version of them. We'll still have a few going. I don't know how long they'll do it for. This can take off some hair. It's got regular and it's got turbo speed, so I could actually get in there and cut thick hair off. Even if I went on damp hair, it would take it off. I could change out the actual head and put bigger metal guard blades on that. I can use regular guards on it, clipper over comb, but these will heat up fast. So if I'm using it for all my detail work, it's going to get too hot. Okay? So that's my grunt work one. Think about buffing your nail, heavy grit down to a fine grit to get that final polish. That would be your heavy grit. Okay? This would be your in-between. So I have the ability to adjust the blade. It's not as bulky to get hair off, but it's going to allow me to work on a finer texture. That's why I'm going to choose it here. If I go in with that, it's just too aggressive for this fine of a texture. I won't need this on her today, but in barbering, a good T-edger that has a real fine tooth that's going to allow me to do lineups. It's going to allow me to get in real tight around the ears. Good T-edge so you can clean the nose out real good, but not in some cases. Right? So, huh?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, these are both wall. Yeah, so this is the Sterling edition. I don't know what this one is. The detailer. Check that out. Yeah. And so Wall, Andis, they're both great. If you watch barbers and follow them, you'll see both. I say pick one up, get it in your hand, see how it feels. Some have different shapes. This actually has a nice spot for the thumb. Some are a little more square, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then the last thing, this is just fun because I like it. If I was doing a men's cut, I'd bust it out for you. But it's the shaver shaper. It's pretty much like your grandpa's old face razor. But it's pretty sweet because I could take a neckline completely faded and then I can go in with this and actually fade up from complete, pretty much straight razored skin into that fade. I can clean up around the hairlines a lot easier, but it won't cut anything that's not stubble because it has to go into those holes. So like if I just went onto her hair right now, it wouldn't cut it. I won't do it for her sake, but it wouldn't cut it because no hairs would go into those little holes. So it's a great one for cleaning up and doing all that stuff. That's my clipper top. Huh?
What about shaving your legs?
Shaving your legs? Yeah. It works on my right one great, but my left one, just kidding. Yeah, it'd be good. I tested it out on my facial hair just to see if it would be strong enough for that, and it's plenty fine. So
What's it called?
the wall shaver. Okay, so let's see.
So, they're cutting off her girl.
Pretty much. You know it.
And is there a reason why you're using the clippers, or is it just, you just forget?
Yes. And yes.
Are you showing off or what?
No. Clippers cut, scissors cut. The main difference between this and my scissor is this can move faster than I can move my thumb. Right? This is like a laser line. When I touch your hair, it comes off. When I put my scissor in there, I got to close it to get it to come off. If I want to cut all these lines, I could do it wet. I could drop it section by section and do that. This way, because of the density of her hair, how I see it laying, I can go right in with a clipper and start to put that line right where I want it. So I'm going to use her head to control. I can use her head to control some of that over direction. So I'm going to start with the side line here.
You ready?
Don't move.
You good with this?
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, we have plenty of those.
All right. So just put your head like perfectly straight, and then just tilt straight over. There you go. All right. So I'm looking at how it lays on her face shape. I want to keep it a little bit longer, and I kind of want to have a little point on the front. So I'll just start. Yeah. Thank you. So now,
It's that much, it's just.
But it's gonna look so
I can stop now if you want.
good. And I'm done.
I already said if I didn't like it, I'd just get a weave.
Oh, whatever. It looks good. Oh my God.
Who's that up there again?
I'm giving up to Give it a mic.
Okay. Now I can kind of just look at the balance.
My head feels like it's 10 pounds lighter.
All right.
It looks so like good.
Tell her this. Did you know you were back there? Okay.
Okay, so even though I don't have her hair all sectioned off and I'm not dropping these little sections, I'm still thinking in sections. Okay, so that's why I worked on that panel on the side. Then I can work on how it transitions into the back. Then I can work matching these two, and then I can work on how it transitions into the front. So I'm still kind of working in my quadrants. And with the clippers, the thicker the hair is, you guys know with graduation, the closer to 90 degrees or layering I am, the lighter that graduation is going to be. Right? The closer to 1 degree, the heavier it's going to be. So I have the ability, as I use, where's the arm at? I might just fondle you there for a second. As I go in, I have the ability to actually create graduation. Right? So if I just come in like this, I created a blunt line. But I can kind of hone the edge off a little bit, and the higher I go, the softer I can make it.
Is that what you're gonna do?
On her, there's not really enough fabric to really create a big graduation. So like you can see on the side, there's slight, and I'll clean it up some, but there's a slight bit of graduation over here. So that just keeps, for when she smooths it, she'll have a little bit of bevel there. All right, so I'm gonna have you look. There we go. And away we go. The thing that's tough for me when I do this is I want to do all the fine tuning, like with every little section, instead of just getting there and then going back and doing it. So I gotta keep myself on pace that way. Look way down for me. And look back up. So I think on any triangular type shape, if you start rounding, or if you start dipping down too far back, it just gets a little weird because it hits the corner of the shoulder, and then you're not sure where that transition happens. So I like to come around a little more square and then start to dip over. I think it has a little more fluidity to it. Slightly. I kind of just catch that edge, and then I'm mainly straight after that, because then I can tilt her like this and catch all those underneath pieces. You can actually bring the clipper up in, and any stray hairs that are short enough will kind of just poke down in there and come off. So you don't have to try and cut them off like that. I can just push that up to the edge.
So once it's all done, you really don't have to do a lot of refining.
Not a lot. I mean, we'll run the smoothing iron through just to see if there's anything that's sitting a little weird, but yeah, typically you don't really have to.
Right.
Straight ahead.
Coming to life.
Every day.
Shake it one time, so I was reading.
This big chunk of hair on the floor in front of me.
Bigger one behind you. Okay, so way over. There you go. So just kind of shake your head back and forth. Oh, come on. There you go. All right, so now I have my overall shape. So what I'm going to look at is just, is there anywhere I need to hit with the clipper again? If I was in the salon, I would go through, which we will, and just bevel a little bit more. And then I always like to hit it with a scissor some. I'll show you a couple little tricks there, but.
Is it to create texture?
Huh?
Do you use it to create texture?
More kind of the softening of the edge, because with their hair fine like this, I can't put a lot of graduation on it. So I don't want it to look too like a broom blunt. So I can go in there and just kind of soften that. Also with a disconnection like this, I think you can already see that she kind of has that fineness on the ends. You know how like good curly hair, it's not like the same density from the scalp to the ends. It has that little bit of transition to where it almost starts to look a little airy on the ends. So that's how a good disconnection should be. If it's just like the same density here as it is here, it just looks too blunt. So to be able to go in and have that, she already had that going with some of her facial framing, so we're good there. Yeah, so just, I'll have her lean away on every area. I'll double check what's popping out underneath. Another thing about the clippers is these are clippers that I can go right to the skin with. The motor-driven ones, if you don't have the small enough blade and you go in there, you can kind of nick the neck because it's wider on the teeth. You also want to be careful if someone has looser skin, so you're not pushing too hard and then pinching the hair in there, or the skin in there. So see that little bit that just peeks out?
Susan, do you need something? Do you need something? Did you need something?
Yeah, I'll just have you move around with my thing here. Here I go.
Good stuff.
So maybe at like 350.
That was like this the entire time.
That's how I felt the whole time.
And actually, oh, we're good. They're still trying.
Ashley,
We good?
did you see that?
Holy crap.
It's moving.
It's not as bad as it seems. It's worse.
Did you see the big one?
Huh?
We got it on video.
I was just gonna say, dude, I have.
So now because she's already smooth, all I need to do is really focus on the ends. It is.
They're wanting to know if you're going to use heat protectant.
I could. I mean, at this point, I'm just going low on the heat because I want to just put a very slight bevel on there. So if I was worried about the integrity, if she had a lot of color on there, then for sure I would. But I don't want a lot of hold right now. So sometimes even the hot off the press can give me a little bit of gathering together on the ends. So this is just before I refine it. So I'm keeping the temperature down, only focusing on the ends. So what do you guys think so far?
Are you putting it in layers or no? Just the one?
I might a little bit around the face. I'll do a little bit underneath to kind of give her some more volume.
She definitely wants that.
So, you ever see someone out and about with their hair? I saw this gal on the plane today and it reminded me of it. And it looks like a bell, right? It's like this and then like the big bubble. I think a lot of ladies will get their hair kind of this shape, but they don't necessarily know how to have it flow to the head shape. So they just take a round brush or a big iron and they bevel their ends under, and it ends up looking like the bell. So really coaching your guests on how to, how to make sure that they're flattering their face shape. You know, how to get a little volume on top along with it. You know, in this case, like, I'm really just working with what her head shape already rounds. I'm not really rounding much more than that. So when I come in here, that's all the bevel I'm giving to it. I'm not like, woohoo, putting the gas on and then creating that bell.
Fix your hair, right? It's gonna be really easy, sweet.
Look good curl.
Next,
Probably in like 2 weeks.
Either way, especially because of this.
What? No?
That could always be your core graduation gift to yourself.
Not all Texans go platinum.
Oh.
What colors do you go?
I'm not sure yet. I've been looking at a couple. It's gonna be multicolor though.
After this, we should color it all blonde. Yes.
Everyone wants
What is
you
with
blonde.
everyone with this blonde?
Because she's got the level to go there.
They have more fun.
I had platinum blonde before, and I looked really, really washed out.
in your professional opinion, what color do you think she should go?
With this style.
I think she should be a cool color, whatever she does. So if she does go blonde, it should be a cool blonde, maybe like the PNs.
What if I wanted to go darker?
You want to go